but you're still going to have to follow and listen. All right? Number 1. All right? It says, in questions 1 through 3, use the following information. Your drama club is having a bake sale to raise money for costumes. You volunteer to make cookies for the sale. The table below shows the amount needed per batch of cookies, as well as the amounts available for each main ingredients. All right? So the question is this. If you have 3/4 cups, if you have a total of 2 1/3 cups of butter, and you need 3/4 of a cup to make a batch of cookies, how many batches can you make? Tell me. Anybody else have a suggestion? Tell me. Okay, that's good. What did you think?
You can subtract 2 1/3. No, 3/4 or 2 1/3.
Okay, so those are all actually pretty good answers. All right. Most people, listen, that's how good you guys are. Most people, when they look at fractions, it's a little bit harder to see what to do. All right, so if you're not sure, now I'm going to show you this. Please watch, because I'm going to show you something that I learned that helped me out. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear this out for a second. So please watch. Uh-oh. All right, and I'm going to erase this. I'm going to erase this for a second. And then I'm going to put in here, let's say it required, 2 cups, and you had 10 cups. Each batch of cookie required 2 cups, and you had 10 cups, and you could make what? 5 batches. Did everybody see how easy that was? Right? For whatever reason, when I do fractions, some people get nervous about the fractions. Right? So they can't see what they're supposed to be doing because their mind can't get beyond the 2 fractions. All right? Because it's just not as easy to see what to do. So one thing I learned early was to change the numbers so it can easily tell me what to do. Right? So I would simply take the what? I would simply take the 10 cups and divide it by the 2 cups, and then I knew that was my answer. Do they agree? So because I know that, right, I can go back to my original, which was what? 2 1/3 and 3/4, and say I just have to do what, Maren? Divide. All right? So I want everybody to put down butter, and we would say 2 1/3 divided by 3/4. Now, this is why we need the calculator, because I don't want you doing that. I want you to be able to just type it in so I can go through and do 50 problems. I don't want to waste time with the arithmetic. So what did it come out to be? So I can make 3 1/9 batches of cookies if I only used what? Butter. Do I agree with that? Now, I don't do any cooking. I burn toast. I don't even use the microwave. All right? I don't want to cook. I never cook. I don't want anything to do with cooking. So, what I'm telling you is, I'm smart enough to realize I'm not going to make 1/9 of a batch of cookies, right? So when we're deciding about batches, we're always talking about what? Whole batches, right? I'm not going to say, well, today I'm going to make a half a pizza, right? So again, this 1/9 is just the extra. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. So if I were to make 3 batches, I would have a little bit of, butter left. Does everybody agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now I'm going to look at the brown sugar. So now I want everybody to put down brown sugar. I want brown sugar. And if I only needed brown sugar, Harrison, what would I do for this? Mm-hmm. That's exactly correct. And I need you to tell me what that is. Well, go ahead. Well, no, what I want you to do is I want you to use this. I want you to borrow this calculator. Show him how to use it if he doesn't know how to use it. You know how to use that or not?
Yeah.
Did you already get the answer?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. So, tell me what you got. But I want you to do it as a mixed fraction. You can use your calculator and it'll convert it to a mixed fraction for you. That's what I'm trying to get you to do. I'm trying to get you to use your calculator. What was it? 4 8/9? That's why it's important to bring your calculator so you can practice using it. I want you to use your calculator now. All right? So if I wanted to bake cookies, how many batches could I make so far with these two ingredients? You can only make 3, right? Because you don't have enough brown sugar to make. Or you don't have enough butter to make the 4th, correct? All right? So now we're going to do the same thing with the flour. All right? So I'm going to write flour down. And then I want someone to explain to me the operation here.
You divide.
So what am I dividing?
4 1/2 by 1 2/3.
And tell me what that is.
That is 2 7
So that would be 2 7/10 batches. So how many batches of cookies can I make now? Just 2, right? Because I don't have enough what? Flour. Agreed? To make the 3rd batch.
Kind of like before, like baking cupcakes, so we didn't have automatic, but it is 2 cupcake things, but there's only 7. You don't fill out all of them.
That's exactly right. That's what we're doing. That's exactly right. All right, we don't have enough ingredients to make the 3rd batch. All right? And so the last one we have now, we got to take a look at is sugar. All right? For sugar, someone else, use your calculator and tell me. What'd you get? Is it 3 3/16? 2 1/8 divided by 2/3. He said it's 3 3/16. Anybody else get that, guys? Everybody good? All right. So now you're supposed to look at all of your ingredients and tell me how many batches of cookies can we make? Only 2. Right? Yes, ma'am.
Also add up the batch of the butter than all that in the total available.
No, because they're different ingredients. Let me make sure I understand. Hold on 1 second. Let me all right, so hold up. One more question. Tell me again what the question was.
Can you add all the ingredients together and then the total available? And divide that?
No. No, because why? Because each ingredient is not being used exactly the same. Like I need more what? I need more flour than I do brown sugar. You see what I'm saying, right? All right. Yes, sir. Well, because I have enough butter to make 3 1/9. I have enough brown sugar to make 4, flour to make 2, and sugar to make 3. You with me now? So I have enough ingredients to make 3, except for what? Flour. You agree with that? All right. Now, again, I'm pretty happy with that, guys, to start out. That's pretty good. All right. So I understand now we can only make what? 2 batches of cookies, correct? All right. So now, all right, I want to read number 2. It says, if you make as many batches as possible, how much of each ingredient will you have left? All right. Now, this one also is kind of tricky. All right. So I want somebody else to think about this. Lexi, tell me what you're thinking. All right, if you make as many batches as possible, how many batches are we going to make? We're going to make only 2 batches. So if I only make 2 batches, then how much butter do I have left after I make my 2 batches? What would I do? Now remember, think about this, kiddo. This right here is the amount of batches of cookies. That has nothing to do with how much I have. Help her, Elise.
So, the butter would have one and one cup because you subtract 3 cups.
Ooh, I'm not sure about that. Why don't you tell me? She's been good.
You could only make 2 batches.
How much butter would I have left?
One and
How did you get that? No, no, no. Tell us. Come on, give it a shot. Listen, remember what I said. I don't care about being right or wrong. Eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing things better. All right? I want you to be wrong. Now, think about this, though. Once again, I'm asking about how much butter is left. This has to do with batches. Tell them.
So 3 fourths, so that'd be 1 batch. So
Yeah.
3 fourths times 2 is 2 batches, so 3 fourths is also 4 and 1 third. You subtract that and do half of that.
Well, if you could reduce, if you could reduce 6/4 properly, what did you say 6/4 was? Put your hand out. She's brilliant. Reduces to what? Yes, 1.5. You said 1 1/3. All right, that's what. Then that's you see what I'm saying. I know what you meant, but that's, okay. So now she's correct. However, all right, this is what your calculator is supposed to do. This is what I want you to write down. All right, now the reason why some of you made a mistake is listen. This right here is how much you have available. So you have for butter. You have 2 1/3 cups, right? How many batches are you making? 2, right? You're making 2 batches. So you're going to subtract out 2 times 3/4. Now, why is it 2 times 3/4? Say, that's exactly right. And we're making how many? 2. Now, someone said in my other class, they did it like this. 2 1/3 minus 3/4 minus 3/4. Is that the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the way some of you might be thinking about it. Right? So again, I'm trying to help you now. I know, like I said, I know nothing about cooking, but I know lots about fractions. I'm trying to show you how you should be thinking about these. Right? This is how much I have, and I'm making 2 batches, so I use 3/4 of a cup twice. Now you guys got to tell me if you understand what I'm saying. So now tell me what that is. Now you have your calculator out. You go 2 ABC1 ABC3 minus 2 times 3 ABC4. That's how you use your calculator. That's what I want. I'm not interested in you doing the math on paper. I want you to learn how to use your calculator. It's a powerful tool. And that came out to be?
5 over 6.
Somebody said 5/6. Is that accurate? Did anybody else get 5/6? Anybody else with a fraction get 5/6? Okay, so I'm happy. All right. So I have 5/6 of a cup left of butter. Now I need help with the brown sugar. So brown sugar. All right, so I want someone to tell me the operation for brown sugar. Thank you. What do I do? Remember, I'm taking 2 batches. And listen to me. And go ahead.
You do 3 to
Yes, or
2 3 2/3
yay, there you go. Perfect. Perfection. There we go. 3 2/3 minus 2 times 3/4. And she's doing it on the calculator, so I want her to do it. And everybody's using the calculator. Try to switch back and forth if somebody doesn't have one. Jackson, I want you to use that. What's the matter, Jackson? What'd you get? Somebody said 2 1/6. Is that correct? Is that right? Did anybody else get 2 1/6? You did? All right, so I'm happy. Right? And then after brown sugar, the same kind of response we need with the flour. Here we go. Everybody take a look at flour. All right. And someone tell me how to do flour. What do I do? You're awesome. And tell me how much flour I have left. Everybody should be trying on their calculator. We're practicing. One and what? Anybody else get 1 1/6? All right, so we're awesome. All right, and after flour, I just need regular sugar. All right. Marin, go. Loud and proud. Look. $19 over 24 cups left. All right. Is everybody happy with that? Is that right?
Yeah, I understand what we're doing and stuff. But the only thing I'm confusing is why I don't understand when you multiply the 2 and the 3. Like, or we multiply this for
Do you agree? What's she saying?
well, I understand those 2 batches, but I don't understand why after you
What?
why you multiply at the end, you multiply them out and you
Okay, so I asked you, if I'm not mistaken, do the flour, right? Did you tell me the answer to the flour?
Yeah, I didn't check it.
No, I'm saying, but I'm trying to understand your question. That's all. That's all.
I don't understand why you have to
Multiply by what? That's why.
on flour you multiply by 1/3. I don't understand why you have to multiply at all.
Because each batch. Listen to me. That's a good question. Each batch requires what? Yeah. Right. So let's say I had this, and this is where I'm talking. Everybody, try to listen to me for a second. This is why I try to teach kids this technique. Let's say each batch. And I'm going to erase this too. All right, let's say each batch required 2 cups. And I had 9 cups. How many batches could I make? Right, and how much would I have left? See how easy that was for your brain to do that? See how easy that was? So that's what you're doing with the other stuff. See, what you did was you multiplied the number of cups it took times the number of batches and then subtracted it from 9. What, Aiden? What? I'm having a conversation with her. I'll get to you if you don't understand something. But you saying what is interrupting our flow. Okay? Do you understand what I just said now? It's harder, and this is what I'm trying to say. it's harder to understand the fractions. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I tell kids all the time, if I had, for example, 15 sixteenths, and I said I want to divide those up into 1/9. How many is that? If you didn't have a calculator, it'd be kind of weird, right? See, because I said 15 sixteenths, if I divided it up into ninths, right, how many would there be? It's kind of hard to see, right? But if I said there are 15 and I divided them up into 3, that would be easy to see. It's what? 5. Right? So what I'm trying to tell you is when there's fractions involved, it's harder to see the numbers. So I try to make the numbers so I can make sense of the numbers. And then when I make sense of the numbers, then I just apply it to the fractions. So what I tried to show you was that if I told you we had 9 cups altogether, and there were, each batch required 2 cups, you told me, well, we could make 4 batches, and we would have what? 1 left over. So in your head, you should, to get that answer, it was just 9 minus 4 times 2. Right? That's what I'm telling you, that if I erase all this, that's what you're doing also. You see what I'm saying, right? Yeah, the numbers, because they're fractions, aren't as easy to think about, right? So when someone says 1 2/3 times 2, sometimes that's not even as obvious. All right? So hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I like to try to make the numbers so I can see it better. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. All right? Now, number 3 is the super important one. All right, it says, which ingredient will you run out of first? All right? Which ingredient are we going to run out first?
2/3.
I said, what ingredients are we going to run out of first? And you said 2/3.
Oh. Sugar.
Sugar. What do you think? Sugar. Sugar? Why is that? Because?
It's 2, but butter has 2, but 1/8 is smaller than 1/3.
So what I was hoping you would say is that the correct answer, what is it?
Flour.
It's obviously flour.
What? That's good.
Shh.
This is how many batches you can make. Flour, you can have 2 and 7.
Right, you can only make 2 7/10. So we're going to run out of what first? Flour. If we have a little bit more flour, we could make what? How many? We could make 3 batches. Come on now, this is what I need you guys to get involved in now. Tell me if you're not sure. Go. Well, because here, I have to look back up here. How many batches of butter? If I just needed butter, I could make what? If I just needed brown sugar. If I needed flour, I can only make 2. You agree with me? And for sugar, I can make 3. Right? So I really, if I had a little extra flour, I could make some more. I could make a 3rd batch, right? So the question is, how much more do I need? How much more flour do I need? Just a minute, I'm going to tell you. How much more flour do I need so I can make that 3rd batch? How much?
Me?
Yeah.
1/2.
1/2. He's saying he needs a 1/2 a cup. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
A 1/2 a cup. All right. If he has another 1/2 a cup of flour, how do we know that, please?
Well, because we have 1/16 flour remaining, and we need 1 2/3 to make another batch. So we have to simplify that fraction into 6. That's 1 1/6 still, and then 1 4/6. So you need an extra 3/6, which can be simplified into 1/2.
Didn't say it very myself.
That just
That's without that. So listen. No, listen. What he said is 100% true. So I want everybody to listen because that's really good. But do I really care that he was able to do the calculation in his head? Because we have a what? We have a calculator. But again, here is the point, right? Every batch for flour requires what? Help me. 1 2/3 cups. Do you agree? So I need 1 2/3 cups to make a batch. I only have what? How much left? I only have how much left? 1 1/6. All right, now it's just looking for information. Right? That's why question 2 was important. I had 1 1/6 cups of flour left. Does everybody agree with that? What's the matter? Come on. Speak up. Come on.
Well, I'm 6
No. Listen, I need everybody to hear me. Listen, look up at me so I can tell you something. Listen. If I tell you the answer is 1/2 and you got something different, I am not as interested in how you did it, right, with what numbers. I'm trying to ask you, how did we get to the 1/2? That's what I'm asking you, right? How did we get to the 1/2? I'm trying to make sure that you know that it requires this. How much for a batch of flour do I need? I need 1 2/3 cups. Do you agree with that? That's what I need. 1 2/3 cups to make a batch of cookies just with the flour. Do you agree? I only have how much remaining after I just made 2 batches? How much do I have remaining? Right. So this right here is all I have left. 1 1/6. Do I have enough? Because I need 1 2/3. So the question is, how do I figure out how much I need? That's exactly what you have to do. So now take out your handy dandy calculator and you go 1 2/3 minus 1 1/6. So the answer is 1 2/3 minus 1 1/6, which is, just put it in there. Thank you. Leave it there. Which is 1/2. Exactly what he said. Exactly. So we need a 1/2 cup. Now I'm trying to tell you guys, this is kind of tricky. I'm not even. That's why I'm saying if you're just writing down the numbers and not participating, it's very hard. All right. It's not something you can go home at night and just study on your own. You got to be paying attention and listening to me. All right. That's another reason why it's important to bring your calculator. All right. Anybody have any questions now? I'm telling you that was kind of hard. All right. If you're not sure about something, speak up though. Go. Come on. Don't be shy. But now you see it, right? What? You good? Yes, ma'am.
I just was wondering how you just subtract.
Subtract what?
1 2/3.
Okay, so I want you to tell me, in order for me to make cookies, how much flour do I need? 1 2/3, right? How much do I have? Right, so what if I told you this? Let's say it costs, I need 5 cups to make cookies. And I only have 3. You see what I'm saying? I can't emphasize to you enough how important it is. The fractions make it look harder. So I don't ever use fractions when I'm thinking about it. I just replace it with numbers that I can easily see. All right, what?
I'm still kind of confused about that too. Like what to do. I know you do the total available -2 times the amount you need. I just don't know why.
Okay, so I'm gonna show what I think. I think I said the same thing over here. So listen, let's say we needed 2 cups, right, to make a batch of cookies, and I had 7 cups. How many batches of cookies can I make? And how much will I have left? I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to tell you, look how easy that is.
Okay.
But as soon as I say, I need 1 1/8, and I have 4 2/3, now people are going, what? I have no idea how to do that. Right, just simply because they're what? simply because they're fractions, right? And that's why I'm trying to tell you, you're going to be so much smarter if you can just say, okay, just let's make it 7 and 2, right? So I take 4 and 2/3 and divide it by 1 and 1/8, and that tells me how many batches I can make.
Okay.
Right? So let's everybody do that real quick. Everybody type in 4 and 2/3 divided by 1 and 1/8. So what's 4 and 2/3 divided by 1 and 1/8? What is it?
4 and 4 27.
How much?
4 and 4 27.
So I've got 4 and 4 over 27. Is everybody agreeing with that? Right?
Wait, did you
Yes, 4 and 2. That's what I'm saying. Type it on the calculator, you guys.
I got 8 ninths.
4 and 2/3 divided by 1 and 1/8.
I got 8.
No, you didn't.
4 2/3.
Divided by 1 and 1/8.
Ah, there it is.
Okay? Do you see it now, right? So now I'm telling you, I can only make how many batches? 4. So now we can take 4 and 2/3, which is the total, right? Minus 4 times 1 and 1/8. That'll tell me how much I have left. Because again, that's what we did with this scenario right here. Right? And again, I want you, everybody to know, I understand your confusion. That's what I'm saying. If you don't tell me, I can't help. Right? Honestly. The fractions just make the problems harder. When in reality, guess what? They're not any harder. Right? Because if I gave, you could have done that problem in seriously 3rd grade. If I'd give you this worksheet in 3rd grade, I think you'd be able to do it. If I gave you easy basic numbers, it would be easy. But because they're fractions, people think it's harder, and it's not. All right? That's what you have to try to remember. Okay, so let's take a look real quick at 4, 5, and 6. All right? 4, 5, and 6. And I want somebody to read 4 real quick, and then go.
How far did you walk over these 5 days?
And what would that be? How would I figure that out? Tell me. You add them up. All right? This is why we use a calculator. All right? The reason why we're using a calculator is because I don't want you wasting time doing that. All right? I don't want you wasting time doing that. All right, my little connection here is having issues.
Black screen.